So guys, this eye is going to turn out. Can you see how beautiful it's turning out already? And I love this Ankara print. It's going to be a very cute bag. In this particular part, we're just going to be drafting out the pattern for this beautiful bag. First of all, we are going to be measuring out the flap of this bag. It's something like this. 10. So we measured an 8.5 inches. And 8.5 inches. The length from here to here is 8.5. Here to here is 10 inches. I'm just going to connect the marks. Once you finish connecting the marks, I'll cut out this triangle. So in cutting, it's advisable you use a separate scissor that you use in cutting out your cheekbone. So guys, what I'm going to do, since I've gotten these measurements, I'm just going to measure out 3 inches. We are drafting out the flap. Yeah, and I want to make it kind of have this shape here. As we've measured 3 inches from this point to this point, I'm going to connect this point down to this point. I'm just going to connect the mark. Remember, this to this is 3 inches, so you connect the mark from this point down to this point. You cut on the mark. I'm going to be taking 1.5 inches all around it because I want to get this frame of the bag. Remember, this one was done by an apprentice, so this is for a practice. I've marked them, so I'm going to connect these marks now. Make sure everything is straight. This is the frame. This part is this part we want to get. This is the part we are going to be using. This part, I'm not going to need this, so I'm just going to cut this part out. So I'll just cut a bit of notch because I'm still going to use this part here. So if you have a blade, it's better. You wouldn't have to damage the part. So I'm just trying to cut on this line here. Be careful so that you have a very straight. So just cut on that line. Okay, so this is the part I've cut off. So we are still going to use this small part. If you decide to use it, it will be too small. Can you see that it's too small? In order to make it a bit bigger, use this one to measure out another part, then increase it by 1/2 inch all around. I'm using that part that we cut out from that, the entire flap dimension, to draft another one. I'll make sure now I straighten this line first. So just ensure you increase it by 1/2 inch all around the length or the dimension. I'm just going to connect these marks now with my ruler. Is it? Please don't make mistake by cutting the inside. This one, we are cutting the outside one, the outside line all around. So I'm just going to be cutting on the line. Is it? Compared to this, can you see the difference? Remember what we did? We just increased this by 1/2 inches all around. That's it, like it to just fit in. Next thing I'm going to be drafting out is the main body of the bag, which is going to measure 10 inches by 7 inches. It's going to be very, very, very fine, super cute. Make sure you watch every step of the video so as to not miss out any information. So once you've measured it, the next thing you're going to do is to connect these marks like this. So I'm just going to cut it out now. Here is it. For the bottom of the bag, it's going to be 10 inches by 5 inches for the bottom of the bag. We are taking 10 by 5 inches. It's 10. This is the bottom. I'm just going to cut out. Make sure you are cutting on the line. Cut out the bottom. So before I draft out the side of the bag, I just want to show you a bit of how the flap is going to come out. So this part of it is, I'm going to cover it with something, this material, which is gray, and this other part, this part of it that is cut out, not this one, is going to have the Ankara fabric. Okay, let me use this to demonstrate. This one is going to have the green material, and this one is going to have the Ankara fabric. For the side of this bag, I'm going to be taking 7.5 inches by 6.5 inches. Okay, the side is going to be 7.5 inches by 6.5 inches. I want to get this kind of shape. I'm going to cut notches on the down. It's going to be half and this, guys. It's not up to 1, half and this. So I'm just going to use that measurement. It's not up to 1. There's a measurement here. So once you measure this like this, I'm just going to connect the marks. For this shape cut out, the measurement is going to be 1 by 1 inch. So I'm just going to measure out 1 by 1 inch. Once you've gotten it like this, I'll just connect it in a form of triangle. I'm going to connect these lines. Then you cut it out like this. Can you see the way it turns out? This is the part I cut out, this is the other one. So just to give him a kind of professional look. It's not compulsory, it's optional. I'm just going to do the same here. This side is going to be at the back, and at the front you're going to be expecting something like this. It's going to be a very cute bag. Alright, so we are done with the pattern drafting. So the next thing is to cut out the interfacing, and it's just use the template that we've cut out. Place it on your material you're using for interfacing. In this case, I'm using this part of fabric or thick leather for interfacing. Just place it there. I use it to measure out. Cut out the stabilizers. Okay, so we have 2 of these for the main panel. We have this one for a flap. We have 2 side panels. I have the bottom, and I'm going to be using this Ankara material for some parts of the bag. Okay. I'm using a stick gum, also called shoemaker gum. I have my brush here, which has been overused. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be applying gum on these stabilizers and wrapping my fabrics on them. So I'm applying gum. I'll leave half an inch because I'm going to be wrapping this onto the leather. So I'm just cutting out. I'm also going to leave like half an inch on this part. So I'll just fold it, then cut a notch like this. Then I'm going to be leaving half an inch. Just watch the way I'm doing it. Cheese on the corner like this. Like this. The notches I cut it to the edge, right? So I'm going to apply gum on these edges. and on these edges, because we are going to be wrapping on it. Okay, you can use your brush. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay something down so that it doesn't get stained. Guys, once it has dried, I'm just going to gum the inner part first. So you allow it to dry first so that your gum can stick well. So I'm just trying to pull with my fingers. I don't want my fabric to get stained, so you just move it where the notch is. Make sure it's well gummed. So I'm just using my thumbs, my finger, to pull it this way. Just watch me and see the way I'm doing. I'm going to apply gum on these edges too, then I will fold it inside. So on this edge, I'll put a little. You can use your brush. I'm used to using my hand. If you feel it's not hygienic, use your brush. I'm just going to apply bits of gum at these tips here, so I can fold it like this inside. This is it here. Just going to wrap this part of it with this Ankara print. Okay, remember it's going to come like this. So this one will be wrapped with this Ankara print. Guys, I've finished applying gum. Then I will take my Ankara print, Africa print material. The right side is going to be facing down. I will take this gummed stabilizer. I will lay it on it like this. Okay, guys. Then I'm just going to smoothen it out. Then I'm going to cut, leaving half an inch or 1 inch excess Ankara print or Africa print material, because we are going to be wrapping onto this like this. Okay, so you smooth it out. When you see that there are some wrinkles on it, you can pull back and kind of just use your hand to smoothen it out. The wrinkles, see, I'm trying to pull so that it will be smooth. You can see wrinkles here, so I'll pull it. See the way I pulled it. Applied gum on the edges. I'll just let it dry before I fold this towards it. Once it has dried, guys, I'll just fold this into it. Just watch the way I'm folding it. I'm trying to pull the fabric towards the material I'm using. I'm using my finger to pull it. So this point here, there's no gum here. There's no gum on this point. So I will use my finger to just put a bit of gum on this. I'll let it dry, then go about doing the other ones. Then at this point too, there's no gum, so it can stick well. I'll apply a bit of gum here, then just let it dry. Then you can fold this on this later. Then I'll go about doing the rest. So at this point too, these 2 points, I'll just put bits of gum there to just apply some pressure. You pull. I'm actually pulling, like pulling towards the leather. So this is it here. So guys, this eye is going to turn out. Can you see how beautiful it's turning out already? And I love this Ankara print. I'm just going to be applying gum on the edges of this one to hold it in place. Okay, applied gum on the edges all around. So I'll take the frame, this part, I'll just position it. This is just to hold this in place temporarily for the meantime. Then you can use your hammer to just hit it in place. Then after that, we are going to take it to the sewing machine. In this case, I'm going to be using a grid thread at the top of the machine and the down part of the machine. So this part, remember there's a part here, it's on the pattern, but I didn't cut it out on the leather. So once you've trimmed, make sure you are trimming respect to the curve of the stabilizer. If for instance the interfacing is slighted, you just trim in a slighted way, you cut. Just go to top stitch. Guys, remember this is an external stitch, so you are going to take your time to sew. Okay, so in this case I'm just going to pass the thread to the back and I will stitch. So there are some matching oil stained here. This is the thread I used, so just make sure you pass it to the back and you tie. I'm just going to tie it at the back and I'm going to burn this curve there. It's going to be something like this. So I'm doing the main panel now. It's on this fabric like this, with the right side of the fabric facing down. Ensure when you apply your gum, you allow it to dry for some minutes, at least 10. Then I'll use my hand to kind of smoothen it out. I will turn and see there are some wrinkles there, so I'm going to smoothen it out by either pulling or doing something like this. So this is the fabric I'm using for the body of the bag. We are going to do 2 of them. The color is green, the same color I use for the frame of the bag. So I'm just going to take my scissors and trim. I'm leaving about ½ inch. Remember, we are going to be folding it into the leather or onto the leather, whichever. Once you've done it, you turn, you apply. I'm going to apply gum on the edges because I'm going to be folding. This is the main panels. I've done the flap. I've wrapped the 2 main panels. So in the part 2 of the video, we're going to be wrapping the other ones, which are the side panels and the bottom panels. I'm going to be teaching you how to fix the bottom feet, then put the bag together. All right, and please make sure you watch every of my video to the end. It's actually getting dark here. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up or any other video that you like, and make sure you share my video to people who are interested. Have a nice time and bye.